Hello and welcome to MahendraGuru.com, the Brahmastra for Success. Here we are with a session of tips and tricks in English, and the topic that we are going to discuss today is prepositions. As you all know, when we talk about grammatical expressions or grammatical questions in your examination, preposition is one of the most important topics. Maximum questions which you see in error detection, phrase replacement and many other such questions, they are from preposition. So today we are going to discuss what prepositions are, how they confuse students in the examination and how the errors can be rectified. So moving further to the topic, as you all know, I'm repeating again for you, the preposition is a word which itself is a part of speech that shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun and the other words in a sentence. For example, if we see the example given over here, I am worried about my new job. In this sentence, if you see the highlighted word, that is a preposition that's about, this particular word is basically joining two different expressions of the sentence. First is I am worried and the other one is new job. Now it is connecting new job to I. Two different expressions are connected. Such words which are used to connect two different expressions, one of them which is noun and pronoun, these are called as prepositions. Moving forward to the next one, the next example that's given, the picture is on the wall. Now here the two expressions are picture and the wall, and they are related by on, which is a preposition that as well as shows some position of that thing. She is waiting for her friend. Now here the two things are she and her friend, and they are connected by for. So as you know, these words about, on or for, these are prepositions which are used to connect a noun or a pronoun to other words of a sentence, and it itself is a part of speech. Now, as you can see, prepositions are used in many different ways in English language. We use it a lot, and that's the reason why people are very much befuddled or confused about the uses of prepositions. So now we are going to discuss some basic uses how prepositions can be used in English language. For example, if you see the first point that I've written over here, they are used with time words. If you are trying to express time in different fields, you can be telling about days, you can be telling about dates, that can be months, years, minutes, seconds, irrespective of it. If you are using time words, prepositions are used to represent them. As you can see, on Saturday, I'll see you on Saturday. Now on Saturday shows the day which I'm talking about. In the 19th century, now I'm talking about a wholesome time, that is 19th century, and at night. So it can be days, it can be dates, it can be months, it can be years, it can be decades or centuries, and it can be parts of a day as well. As for example, evening, morning, as we say in the morning, in the evening, at night or at noon. Secondly, they are used to show where something or someone is. If you're talking about a position, as the name says, preposition, it may be talking about position. So if you want to talk or show where something or someone is, for that purpose also we can use prepositions. The example says the pen is on the table. So where is the pen? The pen is kept on the table. The pen is in my hand. So where is the pen? The pen is in my hand. James is in the garden. Now we are talking about location of James. Where is he? He is in the garden. The picture is on the wall. So a picture is hanging on the wall. All these three expressions, on, in and on over here, are basically talking about the position of these things. The pen, James and the picture. As the third one goes, they are used after some nouns as well. We are very much acquainted with these two uses, that they can be used for expression of location, position or time. But what you get confused is how they are used after different parts of speech. So a preposition can also be used after a noun. As you see in this example, he has trouble with learning new words. In this example, he is a pronoun, while trouble, this word is a noun which is followed by a preposition. So he has trouble with learning new words. Moving further to some different uses, the next one says they are used after some adjectives as well. As we have seen, they can be used after noun, they can also be used after adjectives. As you see, she is good at cooking. In this sentence, the word good is used as an adjective and is followed by a preposition. She is good at, and she is good at what? She is good at cooking. France is famous for wines. Now again, famous is an adjective which is followed by a preposition for. So France is famous, and it's famous for what? It's famous for wines. The next point says that these prepositions can be used after some verbs as well. So moving to the examples, I am listening to music. In this sentence, the word listening, it's the action or the verb performed by the subject I. And I'm listening to what? I'm listening to music. So it is followed by a preposition. Similarly, she's waiting for her sister. So she is the subject. The action performed is waiting. And waiting for whom? For her sister. Another verb that is followed by a preposition. The third example says he borrowed money from his friend. So he borrowed. Borrowed is the verb, which is money is the object, of course, and it is followed by what? From. So borrowed from. From whom? From his friend. The next and the last use is they are used in certain phrases as well. As you must be knowing, there are certain phrases which are created from prepositions. These are phrasal prepositions. So यहाँ पे we can see that they are used in certain phrases. For example, he took up biology in class 11th, or he took up biology in 11th standard. Now as you see, there are two different prepositions used over here. One is up and the other one is in. Now up basically is used to create this phrase that is took up. To took up or to take up something, that means to select, to initiate something. He arrived just in time for the play. Here the preposition is in and it is joined with time to make a phrase that is in time. That is appropriate movement. Time that was prescribed. Moving further, next we are going to discuss some of the common confusions that you face while solving problems related to preposition. There are certain words and prepositions which are quite similar to each other when it comes to their either their spellings or their meanings. So these words we are going to discuss some of them today. First one that we are going to talk about, that first pair is of between and among. Amongst would come later, but between and among, these are the two words which are very often confused by students. If you see over here, as I've written, between, you can use this word between when you are talking about distinct individual items irrespective of their number. You must have been knowing that between is used to distinguish two things or to tell about between two things. Any two things. We are very well acquainted with this fact. But what you don't know is that it can be used for two or more than two. They can be two or more than two, but thing that you have to keep in mind is they should be distinct and individual items. As you can see here, the differences between English, Chinese and Arabic. Now here three different expressions are given. One is English, other one is Chinese and the third one is Arabic. I am talking about three different languages, but still I use the word between. The reason is they are individually written over here. So the differences between English, Chinese and Arabic are significant. Coming to among, you use among when you are talking about things that are not distinct items or individuals. Now in this sentence you can see she has to choose among the three schools. Now I am talking about three schools, but I haven't distinguished which three schools are those. And as you know, it is a combined expression of all the three schools. I have to use the word among over here in spite of between. I could have used among over here in spite of between, but in that case it should be three languages. So the sentence can be the differences among three languages are significant, or the differences between English, Chinese and Arabic are significant. Moving further to the third word that we are going to discuss is amongst. Now amongst is another word that is quite similar to among. We have been talking about among and we said that this particular word among is used when you are talking about indistinct items in a sentence. For example, fear spread among the people of Iran. Now in this sentence you can see another thing related to among, that is when you are talking about a group of people which are not distinguished properly. So we are talking about the people of Iran, but I am not specifying each and every one of them. So when you are talking about the people of Iran, the word among is used. The fear spread among the people of Iran, or the scandal caused a division among the leaders. But when you talk about amongst, the only criterion is the word that is following amongst should start with a vowel. As you can see, us starts with a vowel. So amongst is also used with more than two people or thing, but before words which start with a vowel only. Moving further to the next expression, the next two confusing words are beside and besides. Again, the only difference in these two words is this letter S. The spelling of beside and besides not only distinguish the two words in their spelling form but also distinguish in their uses. When you're talking about beside, the word means next to or at the side of something. As you see the example, he sat beside his ailing mother. So this guy, he was sitting somewhere. And where was he sitting? He was sitting beside his ailing mother, next to her. He has a shop beside the school. So there is a shop that lies beside the school, just next to it. So we are talking about the position of this shop which is beside the school. But if you see the uses of besides, it means in addition to this fact. A fact is given and in addition to this, something else is also mentioned. As you can see the example, I have a car besides a bike. Now in this expression, I am talking about two things. I have a car. First, handedly I have a car. Apart from that, besides that, I have a bike as well. So, two things are added to each other. I don't want to go to a 5-star restaurant. Besides, in addition to the fact, we can't afford it. Moving further to the next expression, the three words over given over here are below, under and beneath. All the three of them, they are similar in their meanings, they show downwards. But the problem is how they are used in a sentence. Talking about under first, it is the most prominently and frequently used word out of these three. If you go about their uses, under is used most often, then comes below, and beneath in the last. So, talking about under first, as you can say, under can be used for talking about layers of something. When I am talking about layers of clothing or layers of beddings, then under can be used as an example has been given. I have on a t-shirt under my jacket. So, someone, the person who is talking about himself or herself over here is saying that he is wearing a jacket, but under that jacket he is wearing a t-shirt. Moving further, the next use says that one can use under for numbers as well. When you are talking about numbers or numeral expressions, as you can see over here. I did it in under 2 hours. So the time that I took was 2 hours. We raised just under $10,000. So the amount that they raised was $10,000. In both the expressions, you can see numeral expressions have been given 2 and 10, and they are preceded by under rather than below. You won't say that we raised just below 10,000. We'll say we raised just under $10,000. The third use says that under also shows up in expressions like under stress or under pressure. Another use of under that is very commonly seen. Moving further, when talking about below, it is used to talk about the level of something. Under shows an expression while below is used to talk about the levels. As you can say, it's supposed to drop below freezing point. So the temperature is supposed to drop the freezing point. That's a certain level of temperature. You can use below to talk about something as well. As you can see in this example, when you're mentioning something to be under the, then you can say, please read the instruction below before you begin. So the instruction that's given below is to be read priorly. Below is used to indicate, now if we are talking about the difference, here it is written, okay, below is used to indicate a definite location, while under shows movement across something. That's a completely different and very useful thing over here. Okay, when you are talking about two things which are stagnated or in static condition, he lives below my house. While one thing is moving across the another one, then you can say the river flows under the bridge. Over here, he lives, that's a static action. My house, another static noun. But when we are talking about the river flows, that shows that the river flows across the bridge, under it. Moving further, the next word, the third word of our trio was beneath, which is said to be similar to under. Beneath and under are similar in their uses, but beneath is way more formal than under is. As you can see the example, you may find a floating device beneath your seat cushion in case of emergency landing. Now this word beneath could have been replaced by under, and still the sentence would be correct if you use under instead of beneath. But still the word beneath is way more formal than under. It can also suggest being covered by something, covered up by something. That can also be shown by beneath, like beneath the blankets or beneath the surface of the water. Being beneath someone is another negative comment we can see over here. She acts like some kind of a princess, like we're all beneath her. Now in this sentence, you're talking about standards of a person who lies beneath someone else. Moving to the next expression or the next duo, that is in and into. Another two simple expressions which are often confused with each other. We use in to talk about where something is in relation to a larger area around it. I am in a room. Now this room is comparatively large to me. And where do I stand in this room? I am inside this room. That is shown by in. As you can see in the example, she is in the garden. I have left my bag in the room. So where is the bag? The bag is in the room. Where is she? She is in the garden. That is the location of the particular person or thing in respect to the greater area or the larger area around. We use into to talk about the movement of something, usually with a verb that expresses movement. So into shows movement or to enter somewhere. It shows where something is or was going. It can be entering somewhere, then only use the word into. As you can see in the example, he has gone into the house. So what I mean is he entered the house. Helen came into the room. So Helen entered the room. She came inside the room. The movement is to be expressed by the expression into. The preposition into is used for dynamic actions only. Next point you can see with some verbs like put, fall, jump or dive, if they are used in your sentence, in and into both can be used. It doesn't make any difference if you use in instead of into. As you can say, can you put the milk in the fridge, or it can be, can you put the milk into the fridge. Both the expressions are one and the same. Her keys fell into the canal, or her keys fell in the canal, again the same expression. Now here's a very important expression that you have to keep in mind is, now you see a sentence, he entered into the classroom at 5 p.m. In this sentence I've used two consecutive words, one is entered and the other one is into, but both of them mean the same thing. And there's a very important rule that you have to keep in mind, never use the word into with entered. As you can see, this sentence is marked incorrect over, while the correct one says he entered the classroom at 5 p.m. No need to place in or into over here with entered. While if you use the word walked, he walked in the classroom, now the expression is correct because walk does not show any direction, neither inwards nor outwards. So either you can say he entered the classroom or you can say he walked in the classroom. But the use of entered into or entered in is completely wrong. Moving to the next one, the next trio is till, until and unless. Now these two words till and until, they are specifically time related. While talking about unless, it is condition related. As you can see, it has been written, till or until is time related and roughly equivalent to the meaning of up to or ending at a stated point of time where the act is going to end. As you can see the example, lunch will be served till 1 p.m. So lunch will be served up to 1 p.m. That is the end point of the action. In a condition or negative statement, now if you have a negative statement or condition with until, the example is related to not until. As you can see, the hall will not be opened until it has been cleared. Now I have used the word until in a negative condition, and this particular expression can be replaced or substituted by only and when or after. So you can make the same sentence with this expression, the hall will only be available after or when it has been cleaned. Both the sentence mean the same thing, just the expression has been changed. Yahan par in this particular sentence you can see no negative word has been used, while in this sentence I am using the word not. Similarly, if you are talking about the negative expression of unless, that is not unless, is purely conditional. It does not reply or imply, it does not imply any relationship to time. As you can see the example, I will not go to the party unless you do. Now here a person is saying that he or she is not going to the party unless the other one do. That's a condition. If she goes, then she'll go. Otherwise she won't. Now this can be substituted by another expression, that is only if. The same sentence could be written as I'll go to the party only if you do. Both the sentences are same in meaning but different in the expression. One is negative, the other one is positive. I will ignore the question unless you ask me to answer it. Now in this sentence, I am saying that I'll ignore the question unless you ask me to answer it. It can be substituted by if not, where I say I will ignore the question if you do not ask me to answer it. Again, the same meaning but different expressions. One is positive, other one is negative. Moving to the next duo, that is off and off. Both the words are similarly pronounced, but the spelling is different. One is OF off and the other one is OFF off. As you can see, OF off is an expression or a preposition that shows possession, that shows the constitution of something, or it can show possession of something. As you can see, south of the border. Now I'm talking about the position of something which is in the south of the border. The direction is south of the border. Heart of gold, that is a metaphorical expression where I'm saying a heart that is made of gold, but as good as gold. And Queen of England, a queen who belongs to England. So it shows the possession of queen over England. OFF of, it can be used as two different parts of speech. One is adverb and the other one is preposition. When you use of as an adverb, it shows a state of discontinuance. When you discontinue some action, turn off the light. The lights were on. Now when you order or you command turn off the lights, it shows that the continuance should be broken. The continuation should be broken. Well, if you use it as a preposition, it says that take it off the table. Now the expression is of physical separation. Take something off somewhere is to remove it from there. That shows physical separation. That was all about prepositions for you. Thank you. Stay happy.